Welcome to the Northeast Kingdom Voice. I'm your host, Scott Wheeler. Today's guest is Robert Goslin, one of the owners of Spates the Florist. He's here today to talk about a special project that he does every Christmas. Welcome to the show.
Good morning and good day.
And tell me, the name Goslin, I've heard it pronounced different ways. Which way do you actually pronounce it?
Up here in the Northeast Kingdom, we say Goslin.
Right.
Anything beyond St. Johnsbury, when we talk to all of our vendors, we say Goslin, and they know how to spell it that way.
And isn't there another way where you actually drop the N at the end, Goslin, or?
It could be some of the pronunciation, but the French Canadian it is Goslin.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, because I know I hear people pronounce it different ways. It's just like the producer of this show. He's a Paranto. Mm-hmm. And some of them, even though they're his relatives, they spell it differently.
Right.
Some people anglicized it. And
that's right. Yep.
Okay,
All depends on the heritage.
So today you're here to talk about, is it an annual project?
It is an annual project. This is our 5th year that we are doing this. This is what we call our Veterans Memorial Wreath Campaign. 4 years ago, Roger Carty from the high school came over with an idea that they needed a community service project for his DECA students. Mm-hmm. So he came to us and asked if we would donate a couple hundred wreaths that they could put on the veterans' stones in one of the local cemeteries. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was a wonderful idea, because there is a national campaign out there called Wreaths Across America, which deals with all the national cemeteries in each state in the country. In Vermont, there's one in the Burlington area and then one in Rutland. So that's the only 2 cemeteries that get recognized for the holidays for our veterans. So he came to me and he said, we needed a good community project. What do you think about it? And I thought it was a great idea. We had some extra product on hand, so I gave him 200 wreaths, all decorated with bows. Mm-hmm. Then he took his students and they brought them to various sites on the cemeteries here in town to honor our veterans that have passed away over the years. So I said, fine, that's a good idea. So year 2, he asked if we could do it again with his students, but then we brought it even bigger. We started giving him more wreaths so they could do more. The word was getting out that they were doing this, and he was being contacted either through us or through him directly. Could I have one put on my husband's or my grandfather's stone or my brother's stone? So we said, we've got to do this. People are really looking for that final thing that we can do for our vets before the snow covers the grounds. So after the 3rd year, Roger put it into my hands to keep this campaign going. As he retired from the high school, we took it upon ourselves to make this an every year event. And so I've had my staff go to every cemetery in Orleans County to go count to see how many gravestones were of actual veterans. We called out the local American Legions because I know they put flags out every year just to get a rough head count as to how many flags they put out throughout the area. So I called all the local Legion's homes, because there's a few. There's one in Newport, North Troy, Orleans, that covers everybody within Orleans County. So we got a rough estimate there, but we still didn't know how many per cemetery. So we went out and walked cemetery through the summer, and we were looking for the stones that had the grave markers, which we'd either say American Legion, VFW, the Veterans of Foreign War, World War I, World War II. Be surprised at what we're seeing for history out there in the cemeteries. So then we mapped out where we were going. So we've counted, last year we were up to around 2,100 stones that we should be able to cover in Orleans County. This year we've recounted, we've had new updates. We're up to 2,300 that we now have to hopefully be able to put a wreath on to honor our vets for this upcoming year. So we're ready to go. We're out here looking for help from the public. We have sent out hundreds and hundreds of correspondence to area businesses, civic organizations, church groups, youth groups, asking for donations to help sponsor wreaths, and also to help come and place them on the stones on the day.
Okay.
So we always pick the first Saturday in December, and so this year it will be on Saturday, the December the 6th. We'll start at 9 a.m. at Gardner Park, at the memorial that's right there at Gardner Park.
Right.
We'll place a 4-foot wreath on that big memorial. We have a couple of brief speakers that last no more than 10 minutes. And then
Must not be any politicians then.
No. Well,
'Cause
no.
I was gonna say 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Yeah, 10 minutes. Yeah, no. This is just again, it's just a big welcome. Thank you for everybody to come and help. Last year we're overwhelmed. We had over 75 people come and help us apply wreaths.
Are the high school kids still involved though?
Yes, we have from the Honor Society, from the DECA students that come. Many different organizations within the high school, they will come and show up. Which ones I don't, because again, a lot of them belong to more than one club, so I'm not sure which one they're coming from. But just to see all the young people come and help put out, it's just very impressive.
You know, one person, if you ever need help identifying more graves, is, I don't know if you know Richard Colburn of Charleston. He's the historian out there, and he's been digging graves. I think he's finally retired after like 70 years, and he has documented just about every gravestone in Orleans County, including every single word on the stone. And he has everything right in booklets.
Wow.
And he's a huge resource for people. And if you ever have time, he's a great guy. That he might even be able to help identify more people if you're looking for more.
Sure. Oh yeah. We're looking for everyone that we possibly can to recognize, and we have a group. Mrs. Lowell's 5th grade class here in Newport City School is one of our schools. We also have the teachers in St. Paul's in Barton that have taken upon themselves in their class to raise funds, but also to distribute, and they put it as part of their history lesson. So as they're walking the cemeteries, it's a history class. We usually try to have at least 1 or 2 veterans who know the cemetery well, and they can help explain to the children what they went through or what these folks have gone through these wars. So it's very interesting, and no, it's really nice to see them really want to participate in this program.
So when you've been doing this project, have you learned anything?
Oh, it's very humbling the day that we go out and actually put them on the stones, because then you actually you're meeting the person. You see the name, the year, what war they fought in, as well as the year that they died. I mean, as you're walking, you read the stones. You're just not dropping a wreath on a stone and then move on. People take that extra 5 to 10 seconds to read the stone. Who are you putting it down on? And then they start recognizing names. No, I know this family from way back. So now they're starting to say, oh, this must be this person's grandfather or uncles. So it's real enlightening. I mean, for all the years that we've been doing, it's very humbling that day to go out and put it out. I've had many volunteers say, can I just come and do one cemetery? I said, you can do as many as you like. By the end of the day, we're done. It usually takes us about 3 hours to get this all complete. They've stayed with us from cemetery to cemetery. He said, we're so drawn on doing this, I just couldn't leave until the last one was put down. Last year, they asked us why we couldn't put a wreath on everyone's stone. Last year, we just didn't have enough sponsors to be able to apply wreaths to all of our veterans. Last year, we put down 1,400 wreaths. This year, again, our goal is 2,300. We'll get as far as we possibly can to it. As of to date, as of airtime now, we're roughly around 1,425 wreaths that have been sponsored. My place of business, Jill and I, we've started the campaign. We have guaranteed 800 wreaths are coming out of our business from our wreath makers to be applied to these stones. Above and beyond that is where I'm asking the general public to come help us. And the response is as we're getting closer to the holiday and when closer to the event, we're seeing much more response from everyone.
So how can somebody, if they want to donate, how can they donate? And Todd will put it up on the screen.
If you'd like to donate, you can call the shop at Spates the Florist at 334-8330. You can stop in. You can Facebook us at spatestheflorist.com/Facebook. I keep up to dates on constantly every Friday. We update as to how many wreaths we are going. And on our Facebook page, we also have photos of previous years of all the people putting down in different cemeteries. So if you scroll down, start looking for them. You'll see the banner that we have that it says "Welcome to the Veterans Memorial Wreath Campaign." Then as you keep scrolling down, you'll see the families and with their children and their grandchildren coming to and placing these stones. I've had families out asking, can we do this as a family project? So I give them a specific cemetery. I say there's 110 gravestones. So they, one set of folks will do it on December 6th, or they'll do it on that following Sunday as a family project. And it's wonderful because I said we'll gather all of our children, grandchildren, and apply these wreaths to this cemetery. So it's now becoming more than just a mass laying down of these wreaths, but it's coming to the family. It's coming to home, which is really, really nice.
This is really strange to say, but I actually enjoy going to cemeteries, is because, as you were saying, you learn so much by reading those stones. It's just like there was two, I've written about them, or another person wrote about them for me, is there's two Bishop brothers that were from this area, and they were both killed in World War II, only a few days apart. And that's that must have been so tough for the families to lose not only one kid at war, but two.
Two on the same day, or within the same week. Yeah, it is very difficult. So this is why we try to bring back the memories of our loved ones by doing this. Again, we all do it throughout the seasons. In the springtime, everyone is back out there with their families, bringing their veterans, their legions and the VFWs. They're putting out the American flags for our patriotism. We're applying fresh flowers and plant material throughout the summer. This is a great time because we put on a nice, it's a 14-inch beautiful wreath, and we put a bright orangey red type of bow, so it really stands out. When you first see when we first start putting them out, it looks nice, but you do a cemetery, you're putting out 300 and 400 wreaths, and then you sit back and look back, and then you start looking, you start seeing all the color. Then you really realize all these men and women that have fallen, and that for us being free here in this country.
Right. So, how are all the cemeteries receptive to it? Because they have different policies about.
Yeah, that is correct.
Are they all receptive?
Everybody loves the idea. Some cemeteries, unfortunately, we have vandalism. So some cemeteries we do large wreaths in the front of the gates. And we'll wire them on, so that if somebody wants them, they'll have to really do it really bad. We've had, in the past, we'll go and put these wreaths down, and then they'll give us a call the next day and it says, over half the wreaths have been stolen. And it just blows my mind that somebody would do this in a cemetery just to benefit themselves.
Could you, we've all done things that maybe we shouldn't have done, but could you imagine going into a cemetery and taking somebody's flowers, taking somebody's wreath, or tipping over a
headstone? Yeah,
it's like, what are you thinking?
Yeah, that is so disrespectful. We got to respect all of our loved ones and who have passed, and to do that. But as a whole, all of the cemetery associations have all done this with open arms. A lot of them ask us, in the spring, when the snow has gone, we go back and we'll go and strip the cemeteries back out. We'll go back out there and pick up all the wreaths, and we'll recycle the bows, and so nothing is around. So some cemeteries will do it for us, and other ones we do it as well. And it works both ways. It works very well. My goal is to get these wreaths in, and I'll do whatever it takes in the spring to go pick them back up and dispose of them properly. So we can continue with this program every year.
Did you serve in the military?
I did not. My brother did. He was in the service for 23, 25 years in the Navy. And so I had one person in the family who was in the service, so that was enough.
Yeah, so I didn't either. My father was in, if you count full-time and part-time, he was in 23, 24 years. Yep. So I guess he did his service for his three boys, because neither three of us did.
And stayed with it. Yep.
So how come this is important to you?
Well, the way it became important to us is when Roger came to us and started it as a community project, and then I started going online to check out the Reach Across America program. And once I found out that they're honoring, their big project is Arlington National Cemetery, which those are all of our veterans. But I said, hey, there's more than just Arlington National Cemetery. There are all of our local relatives who have fought as well, who are buried here why not recognize them as well? There's no, we have pride, and let's take our pride and keep it to home. So my goal was, they're doing it for the national end, let us do it for the local end. No, that was my goal, is to get all 2,300 gravestones with a wreath on it. Good. To honor these guys and women, these men, both men and women.
I have never made a wreath, and I'm not very coordinated, and I'm not very handy. But how long does it take an average person to make a wreath?
An average wreath maker, making a standard either 12-inch or 14-inch double-sided wreath, if they're hand tying it, when they're really good, they can probably do one every 6 minutes. Someone a little bit slower, probably every 10 minutes. So no, and that's what somebody cutting brush for them. So all they're doing is actually grabbing the green product and fanning it out, and then applying it to the ring.
I suspect I would be one poor wreath maker, as in financially, because I suspect if I did, I could probably crank out one at least every hour.
Every hour. Just like we found that our wreath makers are people who are very crafty, and can do very well with their hands. I could make one. It would not look nice. You wouldn't want one of my wreaths. I'm the behind the scenes guy. I was trained way back when I was young how to manage people. Everybody has their own talents, and my talent is to make sure that I bring the best out of people. So the people who are wreath makers, the people who are the cutters, they do that very well. So then at the end results, then I can show off what they have done for our business, then put it out to the general public. So our wreath business, we take pride of what comes out of here, out of the Northeast Kingdom, and we ship all over the country. And so we take pride what comes out of Vermont to be put out on everybody's homes or businesses throughout the whole United States. But you have to be a crafty person. So that's key.
I suspect, to tell you the truth, is my wife, who can do anything. If she didn't have such a well-paying job, she could make you a whole lot of wreaths, right? Because anytime, she can do anything she puts her mind to. She's like the polar opposite of me.
Right.
That's why I write about people doing things that I can't do myself.
Right. Yeah, and that's just it. And I take people's talents and I really put it to them. Really make sure that they're doing it to their best way of their abilities. And that's when as I was learning through the years of me being in business and working for other people, they showed me how to manage people and show them how to do the best things for what they can do. Right. So I have our wreath makers. I've had this year, fortunately, we have a very good crew of wreath makers. And as you can tell, we're into our second week of production, and some of our veteran wreath makers are hitting their goals. Their goal is 100 wreaths a day in an 8-hour day. So around 4 o'clock when we're getting close, and you start hearing the yahoos, and they've hit their goal. They don't hit it every day, but they'll still give me 80 pieces a day. But once in a while, they'll get that burst of energy to get that 100th wreath in at the end of the day.
So what kind of people do you employ? Because this is only a short period of time. So who are these people? As in, like, what kind of people?
These are we have. Yeah, a lot of young folks that come with us. A lot of people who are transitioning between jobs that are helping us. We have a lot of construction people who have been working, the construction series through the spring and summer. They're done, and then from a lot of times they'll come work for us for 5 to 6 weeks, and then a lot of times they'll be starting up at JP or any other ski resort that are winter before they can get back into the spring. We love to have my best group of class of people are my 50-plus people who are semi-retired but still want to do something. They are a joy to come in. They'll come in and they'll put a good day's work in and give me great numbers. And they're half of my house is veteran people who've done this from year to year to year. Then the other half are people who want to learn, and then we have plenty of teachers that will show people how this works. And then from there, so like I said, we have a good diverse workforce. I have a lot of early 20-year-olds to mid-30s, and then we'll jump to the 50-year-olds and up. So it's a great collaboration of different folks. It's an education, is all I get to say of how people of the older folks will tell us how the young people what they listen to for music, to what are the things that they do. It's just they get it, they learn, and it's quite an education every year.
Is there any good-natured competitions amongst maybe the better ones, as in the ones who could really crank them out?
Oh, there's always in-house. You always have a handful of wreath makers that'll always want to outdo the next one. We push for numbers, which is great, but we also push for quality.
Right.
So if the quality's not there, and we have our quality inspectors, they go around, when towards the end of the day, and we start going through the quality inspection. If we find the wreath that is a little too loose, the brush is not the right color tones, because again, balsam brush that what we use is a natural grown product. We do get some off from plantations and tree farms, but a lot of it just grows in the woods, because it is a native tree that grows around here. So you got to watch the coloring, because sometimes you can get the darkest of the green, then you also have some of the lighter ones, just due because of the conditions where it's growing. If it's anywhere near a wetter area, your brushes tend to be more on the lime green than it is on the dark green. So we just got to watch that, and you got to watch your color tone. So sometimes when they go a little too fast, you can get a polka dotted wreath, where you can have half a wreath of a nice dark green, and then the other part is a lime green, then they go back to a dark green. So it's just for them watching how they're making things. But that's kind of the quality we're looking for. And again, we just put it back on their tables, they tear it apart, and then they just reassemble it with the right kind of colors of the brush.
Now, how many years have you and Jill owned?
We purchased our business from Doug and Vivian Spates in 2002. So we're in our 12th year.
Oh, so it's been that long.
It's been that long.
Was it a learning experience for you?
It was, because I had never been done that kind of retailing. I was always in for forever. But to get into manufacturing, you got to schedule the production end of it. Then you got a scheduling of the logistics of how it's all going to be assembled, decorated, and staged for all of our people. We ship throughout the United States, but so we also have a lot of local vendors, a lot of church groups or organizations who do it as fundraisers. So we have numerous people come pouring in the week of Thanksgiving and the week after Thanksgiving, picking up products. So it's all in scheduling. I have to be at least 3 to 4 days ahead of everybody to make sure I have product on hand so it can be all assembled, made, decorated, and staged, ready to go. So when our customer comes in from wherever, from New York State, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, that when they come up, their product is ready to be loaded. And so it took time. It took a lot of coaching and a lot of scratching of my head. So how are we going to get this all done? But it works very well now. And over the years, I've learned how this all works. And so yeah, it works. It works very well.
And if I recall right, from going back into the history, there's been a greenhouse there for a long time, because before Doug and I believe it was Meters.
Meters have been there. The main the Victorian house that sits on the corner of Sias Avenue and Elm Street, that's the original home.
Right.
And then that was built in 1895. That's when the house was there. Months later, a small annex onto the side of the building was built, and that's when the first florist shop was actually started in business.
And what year was that about?
And they my history has found it is in either 1895 or in 1896. The first florist shop opened there, with a small greenhouse attached to that house was there. Since then, over the years, things have grown. Over the many years, we've had numerous owners. Frank and Jeanette Spates bought it in the 60s. And then I believe they bought it from the Meters, but I'm not 100% on the succession of all of our people. And then the Frank and Jeanette, they purchased the property and added greenhouses, and then Doug and Vivian have done the same. And then we've just kept continuing on. Back then, we used to be in Derby. That used to be South Derby.
West Derby.
West Derby, yes.
Not to correct you, but
no, that's
West
fine.
Derby.
Yeah, I know we're part of Derby until they started moving things around the lines a little bit. So now the line of Derby and Newport is at the Converse Rushford Funeral Home.
Yeah, and that's funny, because if you ask people where Converse Rushford is, they'd say, "Oh, that's in Newport." No, that's actually in Derby.
It's in Derby. Yeah.
Right, and because the border is a little bit before maybe 100 yards before it on Sias Avenue.
Right.
And to tell you the truth is, I don't even know. Is that called Sias Avenue anymore? Because they changed.
Sias Avenue ends at the Newport Derby line, right. And then it starts with Darling Hill Road.
Right.
That's where it starts.
Yeah, because some of these name changes over the years, I still call some roads and streets by names that they haven't been called in years.
Right. Since the enhanced 911
Right.
Program has gone into place, they've changed the names of the roads, and they were sounding the same or had
Right.
extensions put onto them. They've changed them just so it makes it easier for our 911 responser and also for your local florist. We as delivery people need to have your 911 address because that's what we go by. Our GPSs and all of our books follow that program. So for us to find you, we have to know what street you're on, and then to have your numbers either on your mailboxes or your homes. You'd be surprised at how many still do not have them.
Oh, I finally did. I put a new mailbox up, and I said, all right, let's put the number on. Okay, we only have about 4 more minutes left.
Okay.
Again, your project that you're working on for Christmas is called
The Veterans Memorial Wreath Program.
And if are you looking for money? Are you looking for help? What are you looking for?
I'm looking for both. We're looking for sponsors of wreaths. The wreaths are $15 a piece. If you would like to do more, the bigger the numbers of wreaths that you'd like to sponsor, the price gets a little bit better to help us out. And so that runs them. They're 15. Now the first 10 are $15 each. Mm-hmm. The first break is at 11. Then they'll go down to $14 each. Once you hit 100, they go down to $12 each. Mm-hmm. And again, we're looking for sponsors from individuals, groups, businesses, corporations that would like to be part of this. We will recognize everyone at the end of the season with a big thank you, and as to everyone who did contribute. Financially is great. We're also looking for physical help. Again, on Saturday, December the 6th, we will be meeting at Gardner Park at the memorial right across the street from Vista, right by the little short bridge. We'll have a wreath ceremony, and then from there we'll tell you where we're headed with this part of the program. We have already, on Friday, we'll start the day before. Our friends of the North Troy American Legion have their group, and that has grown over the years. They started off with just a few members. Now I believe they have over 10 members that want to come, and they take care of the North Troy, Jay, Lowell, Westfield, Troy areas for us. And then so they distribute a lot of wreaths out there. Then on Saturday, we try to take care of everything here in Newport and in Derby and Coventry, Irisburg. And then we'll get into Orleans and Albany and Craftsbury. We have different groups that want to go in different areas, so we give them the wreaths the day before, and they can either do them on that Friday or they can participate on that Saturday as well and put them out. So we have different groups in many different areas that will stage it all out. So, it's not a huge burden on everyone, but, for a couple of hours, you're out there distributing wreaths, and it's a great time. When we're all done, I invite everybody to come back. We'll set up one of my greenhouses. It'll be nice and toasty warm. We'll have punch and coffee and hot chocolate and all kinds of baked goods that some of the local businesses and bakeries, the culinary arts from the high school have made for us. So to come back and just have a little bit of fellowship with everyone, and so everybody could warm up, and that's our day. So it's a wonderful time.
Just think, if we got the snow that like Buffalo
Oh,
and
my
that are
heavens.
getting, you would have 4 to 6 feet of snow.
Yeah.
That would have been interesting seeing you putting wreaths on.
Yeah, I don't know when we would have gotten there. That's just unbelievable to try to deal with 4 feet of snow in a matter of 2 days. We just couldn't get in, but that would paralyze a lot of communities as well. As much as Buffalo is right now, it's very paralyzed.
Right. Okay, well, thank you for coming on the show, and thank you for what you're doing, because I think a lot of people appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and like I said, every Friday morning at 6:50, if you want to stay up to date as to how many sponsors we do have, I have a morning talk show on WMOO from 6:50 to 7 o'clock every Friday morning. And also check our Facebook page at spatesoflorist.com/Facebook. And you can see how we are and with the numbers. And again, I'm looking for both financial and both physical help.
Okay, well,
All right.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
And thank you to the viewers for tuning in to another segment of the Northeast Kingdom Voice.